Not great.
I'm sorry. I mean, honestly, if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't.
I mean, I can't really go into like any kind of, I was gonna say any kind of specifics, but I mean, beside what I obviously told you that has happened, and essentially, you know, we had another death basically in the family.
That sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yep. And for, like I said, I wish I could kind of at least talk about the shittiness of why, you know, just this one really sucks, but
sure,
you know, just really can't. At least not on the stream.
Sure, I get it, man.
So
that's all good. I didn't mean to upset you.
No, I mean, you know, sort of like I was telling the people that we interviewed during, you know, the chat I did earlier with the people in the haunt. You know, at times I would like to say like, fuck this year. It's, you know, it's taking a lot from me, or it's being really shitty or whatever. But I think the thing I always try to at least think of is, you know, there are other people who are potentially also going through these things, and you know, that maybe they have it worse than I do, or worse than, you know, some of the situations that I have been through this year. So let's try to have a little bit more I guess humility maybe in the whole situation. So it's not always easy to think like that, though. Like, you definitely a lot of times just want to be like, you know, the world's fucking me over, and not really thinking about anybody else. So
yeah, but I mean, it's hard, man. There's definitely days where I feel like everything's targeting me, and I know that's not really reality, but it's really hard to pull yourself away from that.
No, for sure. So I mean,
I'm an incredibly selfish person, so there's that.
Fair enough.
Not pulling any punches tonight. Yeah.
Shit. No, I guess not. I mean, we're at the end of the year. It's almost like this year's been like Festivus.
I mean, the fact that we're still here is like,
this is the airing of grievances, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, the fact that we're still here is kind of amazing in that regard.
Yeah. But all that aside, it's not really the point of doing this is to be super bum out mode in any way.
No, we're here to unbum people.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna literally unbum myself out with trying a new beer. So I am trying the title and the can itself sounded really interesting, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that on the camera. It's called the Vanilla Von Doom. It's a vanilla porter from Trail Point. So
now I could get behind a vanilla porter for sure.
Not a fan of that vanilla flavor.
Really?
I was expecting, typically whenever you see a vanilla porter, it's more of like a vanilla bean kind of flavor.
This is just like somebody put some vanilla in a snow cone.
Not even. I honestly get more of like a very faint, like the best way I can describe it. So you know how like porters kind of have a little bit of that like chocolatey kind of flavor to them anyway.
Yeah.
So it almost tastes like a baker's chocolate with like, if there was baker's vanilla, like how baker's chocolate tastes in comparison to like chocolate.
Interesting.
I would say it's like the vanilla equivalent of that. I don't get a whole lot of vanilla flavor. The porter flavor is all right. I definitely have had several better vanilla porters than this. But you know, very much like we were just saying, you know, there's better, there's worse. So hopefully as a whole, there's just knowing that there will be better beers out there. And maybe the one I got from your boy Chris McCoy's cousin out in Minneapolis.
Oh, nice.
Sent me this nice chocolate peanut butter porter. So, I mean, you know how much I love chocolate and peanut butter beers and porters and stouts. And for those that maybe can see, these are all my Run the Jewels beers right there.
Nice.
So they're slowly coming in. I think a friend from Chicago, I think that box will be here tomorrow. I'm hoping the London one, that's the one, you know, that'll be one of the first international ones I've gotten. So we'll see how that goes. But I think at this point, I am only shit. Hold on, I actually made a little graphic. So I still need San Antonio, which talking to Mark, he was saying that they haven't even announced that theirs is ready, but I really want this one because it's a coconut and marshmallow fluff IPA.
Ooh,
So sounds really good.
gotta love that fluff.
Yeah, and Weathered Souls, the few beers I've had from there where they've done like a fluff kind of thing have been really good. A friend is still waiting to get me the one in Brooklyn, New York. So I need San Antonio, Melbourne. I've got Chicago on the way. I got the ones from California yesterday as well, along with a whole bunch of the Deftones White Pony beer. God, this Mexico Berlin and
that.
Actually, you can order it, I think, on Craft Shack.
I'm broke. I need you to just send it to me. Dude, I buy space dust from a gas station, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's like right down the street. Like that's about as much as I can afford, which is basically no money at all.
Yeah. I also owe a lot of people for these beers and for the shipping. So we'll be interested to see how much that's going to run me here in the next couple of days when I got to pay everyone back.
Just want to do a quick shout out to the Knockout TTV who has joined us tonight. If I didn't say that last part right, just, tell me and I'll say it wrong several more times until I eventually get it right. That's how I like to roll.
Yeah. So today's episodes I'm seeing all the stuff on I have it pulled up on Facebook and on Twitch. So I can see all these things too. It's been kind of wild. I've been watching a lot of Twitch streams lately. Porter from Ocheru, his wife Julia has been streaming starting this past week or so. And Porter actually is doing his first stream, I believe, right now. I think he's supposed to be playing Cyberpunk.
Oh, yeah.
Which for unrelated things that I'm not going to get into, since I now have a whole bunch of time off for the next couple of weeks, I wasn't planning on, buying it or downloading it currently. I was going to get through Miles Morales, but I think I might just take the plunge on Cyberpunk.
Yeah, you might as well. I've definitely put it on my list of games I probably won't get till Christmas, but that's fine.
Right.
I got plenty of other games to play, so I'm as people tend to see several times a week. I like to play old games a lot of the time. So,
I'm more of I love my old games, but I also love playing lots of new games. I'm currently still. If I could figure out if I had one of those graphic thingies, which I was looking at those and didn't realize they're about $150 each for all the things. And I don't know if you can use the same capture card for a PlayStation as you can for an Xbox.
Yeah, capture card should just be universal.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. So that's good to know.
Anything you can, because a lot of guys, and this is actually what I'm going to start doing here soon, is I'm going to build a second PC and literally just put a capture card in it and use that PC for the stream, and then just have my main PC for actually running the game.
Gotcha.
Seems to be the best way to go. And then I can also plug in an Xbox or a PlayStation if I should so choose.
Well, like what's funny is I figured, obviously doing this, I have the setup to do the other part of the streaming. That would be more. I'm more set up for success right away because most people don't have a nice microphone right away or don't have dual monitors or all these other things. And it's like I have all of those things. So really, it's just literally the capture card I believe that I need at this point. And then people can watch me play Last of Us 2 in silence.
There you go. Don't do it in silence. You got to talk to the people.
Oh, I don't know. Like, I think that's kind of the thing is like, like a game like Spider-Man, I can talk while I'm playing that. And, I'll probably motherfuck my way through some of the missions that you got to do that are timed like I did in the first one. But Last of Us 2, like, it's just so intense. Like, the other day I was playing, I probably died for a solid 40 minutes on this one part. And then I felt like that scene in, God, super bad where he's like, why would they make that part where you can't beat it?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I grew up playing old school Nintendo games, so like,
oh no, same.
The games being too hard.
Yeah, no, same. But it's still one of those where you get increasingly frustrated. And then I stopped playing. And then when I came back to it the next day, I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, actually, I think if I were to do these things, this will set me up for a better success. And then I was able to get right through that part. So I was like, oh shit, I just was in the wrong headspace for that game that night.
What's funny is I was streaming probably a week ago. I was streaming Black Ops Cold War, and I had my mic on, and I was just talking, like normally on my stream, but like the mic was still talking in the general chat of the game. So like people are like, "Yo, who are you talking to?" Like, got some dude talking to himself over here. Like it was embarrassing, but really funny all at the same time.
Yeah. I told you the story about when I played Warzone for the first time, and people were talking shit about me and didn't realize that I had a headset and could hear them. And then I was like, sorry guys, I literally have never played this game. This is my first time. And they're like, oh, I'm so sorry. But like for a solid 5 minutes, they were just like, oh, fuck this guy. I hate playing with people that just go off and do their own thing. Don't they realize this is a team game and this, that, or the other? And just totally shit talking me. They're like, oh, that dude's like so far away. The irony, though, is where I was is apparently where they were all going anyway. I just happened to jump out first or sooner and whatever. So, I mean, I ended up where they were trying to go, but I got there way too fast. And then, I was dying a bunch and all this kind of shit. And then they were just like talking mad shit about me. And I was like, it's my first time. I felt like Freak Show and Harold and Kumar was like, heard everything you said.
Oh, it's funny. Well, I guess let's jump on in, wade on into the pool.
So the episode we're going to start off with that we are going to do the intros and outros for is with Jason Rao, which was, there's a funny story when you hear that, where he's like, oh, it's like cow with an R. I've been saying it wrong this whole time. So, yep. And that's actually the second time we've heard that story on the podcast.
Yeah.
And so basically Love and Death has been resurrected. It's Head from Korn's. It was his like solo project of sorts, and then basically now is sort of a super group at this point.
Brian singing on the new Love and Death?
Yep.
I wasn't sure because there was a news snippet a while back when he was trying to get the band back together, and he's like somebody else is going to be the lead singer, and then Brian was going to become like a backup vocalist and guitarist.
No, and that was the thing, is like I sort of remember that too. And no, it's and then that was kind of the weird thing too, even having Jason do the interview. When I got the record, I assumed, because Jason plays guitar in Breaking Benjamin, would stand to reason he's the guitar player in this band, but he's actually the bass player of this band. And I guess I should actually do a formal intro, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. It's just so casual, man. It's just it's me and you, and it's the Knockout TTV. I mean, we're all chilling and we're having a great time. So
surprised Joe's not in there.
I'm surprised Joe's not in there too. He's probably sleeping or passed out drunk or something. Who knows?
Sorry, a friend of hold
on while I text. Big no. I do it all the time. Yeah. In that Tatiana chat, I was like clacking in a couple places. So now somebody's gonna be like, yeah, that keyboard typing during the episode, very rude. Very rude.
No, but I was going to say, I totally lost my train of thought, but it doesn't matter. I took my guitar over to a friend's house because I have those Fishmans in my one guitar, the kill switch ones. And so a friend of mine was like, oh man, I've been really thinking about getting those. I was like, I can just bring my guitar over if you want to try it out.
Yeah.
And then he did, and he was like, really like that. And then he plugged his guitar back in, and he was like, shit, I hear like such a difference right away. I don't even like this guitar now. So he's been sending me photos of like, he's like, well, I found some on like Reverb for the same guitar, basically with Fishman's already put in it, not those specific ones, I don't think, which I should probably mention, like, hey, by the way, you make sure those are the kill switch Fishman's and not just Fishman's. But he's like, oh, I found some that already have them installed. So between buying the pickups, getting them installed in one of my guitars, like this might be a cheaper way to go. So I don't know. It's just kind of funny that I have me as like one of the shittiest guitar players ever has turned someone on to a pair of pickups.
Nice. They've just never heard you play before, right? Is that
pretty much? Sure.
Because anybody can just be like, yeah, I've been known to pluck the strings from time to time.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's funny. I have noticed, and I mean, he even said the same thing when I started playing those Fishmans, and now having the setup I have, I feel like I sound a lot better. And
Yeah.
I would hate to think that merely having really good pickups and, a fucking like $1,300 head and $1,200 cab, would make me sound better. But it is one of those where you're like, well, I mean, I guess there is some truth to like having good gear makes you sound and play better, maybe.
I've recently picked up an instrument. You can probably see it behind me, or
Keyboard?
the shoulder. Yeah.
After you're doing your Horse the Band discography, like now you're just like wanting to get your keyboard.
I was truly inspired. Let's put it that way. Truly inspired by what Horse the Band was throwing down. Because I was like, I can sound like a drunk guy yelling over a microphone while some dude plays some insane keyboard stuff. I mean, that sounds like I was made for that.
Something like that.
Hey, the Knockout TTV, dude. You playing a bunch of random notes and have no clue what you're even going to play?
It's called
That's
grindcore.
prog.
That's
prog, baby. It's either grindcore or prog. So like you just pick one and go with it. Label yourself all about it, and then whenever you do your very first interview for a podcast or something, just be like, "Yeah, I don't really consider myself a prog musician." But then like all of your hashtags on Twitter and everything is hashtag prog music and stuff like that. It's like it's gold. It's content gold. That'd be kind of like interviewing somebody and then being like, I don't really listen to music at all right now. Cool.
I mean, I don't a lot of times.
Well, I do it because I have to.
Sort of. Do sort of a job. Which speaking of the job, let's get into it. Let me get my nice throat lubricating liquids down.
You lubricate that sweet throat.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brutally Speaking podcast. I almost said the Brutal Speaking.
We'll go to the Brutal podcast. We're a totally different podcast about beer.
Yeah. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Brutally Speaking podcast. I am one of your hosts, John, and with me, as always, is Daniel Terry. How are you doing this evening as of when we're recording?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm got my space dust. Everything's pretty much okay as far as I can tell. As far as I know, everything in my house isn't about to spontaneously combust, so we should be all right for at least the next 5 minutes.
There you go. I think in a household where there's, 4 kids, that's always a high probability of happening at any given point.
All I got to say, man, is I got some disgusting kids. So they got home today. I cooked dinner or whatever. So Wednesday nights are always bath nights because for school, they are out in nature pretty much all day on Wednesdays. So we give them baths, on Wednesday night. And like, I swear the water was like a brownish green color. Like, it looked like the sewage in the old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. That's what the bath water looked. So they were disgusting. But yeah, that's pretty much been me for the for this evening so far. So let's we can only go up from here.
Absolutely. And I think the guest we have on this episode will definitely bring the vibe up. It's Jason Rao. You might know him as the guitar player in Breaking Benjamin, but he's here to talk about the new Love and Death record, which is out February 12th, 2021. So you got quite a while till you get to hear this. But thankfully, we got an advance of the record. And man, it's really fucking good.
Yeah, it is.
For those that maybe don't remember Love and Death initially, it started off kind of as Head's solo project of sorts when he had left Korn. And I think it actually had a different name at the time and then morphed into Love and Death and then basically has been resurrected now almost as a super group of sorts. There's excuse me. Obviously, Brian is singing. Jason's playing bass, but I know in a more studio setting, I think it's a very collaborative effort. And one of the more bigger surprises to me was Isaiah Perez, who is the drummer for Phineas, is the drummer of this band now. And I think really adds an interesting dynamic to, I don't want to call it Jed, but it definitely has a more heavier element than we're really used to hearing even in Korn. At times and feels more like a current sounding record, even compared to Breaking Benjamin too.
Oh yeah, dude, I totally agree. Like, I think that I think Love and Death is kind of like vanilla ice cream for me, in that, like, at least the first record was, and even the Brian Head Welch solo record that came before it. Um, I think that they've always been, kind of chill, having a very relaxed sort of atmosphere as a band, and just being like, it's heavy, but it still has that modern radio rock sheen. But I think this one's kind of just like blowing a lot of that away and going a little bit more, going a bit heavier. Like, it's either modernizing and I'm just too old to keep up with it, or they actually are going heavier.
I would definitely say it lends itself more to a more modern sound. I mean, I kind of even had talked about it where I was like, I think Korn obviously is an A, and this sounds like it's like down in like G or G sharp, I think is what he ended up saying. Yep. So, I mean, it's even lower than Korn. And that is a very now kind of a sound, basically, whether you're using the 7 strings and tuning down, that you're seeing a lot of the more, I would say, somewhat more progressive metal bands and current metal bands kind of playing in that tuning. I don't really know how much of that was a decision based on Brian's vocal range. But I will say there were plenty of times on this new record where I wasn't even sure if it was Brian. Like, even the single that's out right now that they just put a video out for Down, I thought that was totally the other guy. And then when the video starts and Brian's handling all the vocal duties, you're like, oh shit, okay. Like, wasn't expecting that. I thought it was the other guy. So Brian, even, I think on this record, has really grown as a vocalist, and it's really refreshing to see him even kind of expand what he does and what he's known for. And, I think that's kind of sometimes the detriment of a lot of these quote unquote side projects or whatever, is just the fact that people don't stray too far from what they do. I mean, look at that first Stone Sour record. It sounds like Slipknot, basically.
Yeah, and it's then, like Volume 3, Part 2. Yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, it would have predated Volume 3.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But it's funny how it took a little bit for Stone Sour to kind of become their own thing, and, Slipknot to kind of really just stay and be who they are now. But it's, this record's really good. It definitely is one that I think when it comes out next year, I think a lot of people are going to be pleasantly surprised at how good it is.
I agree with you 100%. And I think that this record, like the last one, I think it's going to kind of set people. I don't think it's going to be what people are expecting. I mean, this is a Tooth and Nail band, I believe, still. At least the first record was on Tooth and Nail.
Oh, maybe. I don't think they're on a label technically, even though I think overseas I just saw Earache, I think, is putting it out.
They're on Earache. Yeah, that's weird because they were on Tooth and Nail but it could have just been one album contract.
Maybe.
I'm not entirely sure, but they are associated with that scene. And that's the interesting thing too, is I think the people that are listening to this expecting it to be Christian rock, it's really not that at all.
No.
But I think that's, I think that Brian's gone through quite the journey as far as like what his beliefs are and what his mission is and all that stuff. It got a little cringe in a couple places earlier in the career, but I think he's found a really, really good way to just be expressive with his music, and then just be inspirational just as Brian, as the dude,
right?
And I think he's, more or less reached more people through doing that, than necessarily being like, hey, there's the stuff in this book, you guys should do that.
Right. Yeah. Well, without further ado, let's get into the conversation with Jason, and we'll talk to you guys on the other side of it.
46 minutes later.
Yep. The band is called Love and Death. Like I said, it's got I sadly don't remember who the guitar player is or what he's from. But it has Head from Korn, Isaiah Perez drumming from Phineas, and he also used to be he did a tour for Fit for a King. And so that's actually, eventually you'll hear that's how he basically got kind of recruited by Jason and Brian. But yeah, so Isaiah is a fucking beast. He's a great drummer.
You're correct. Yeah. Fit for a King is in fact awesome.
Yeah, they are. we've actually had their vocalist Ryan on this show.
We've had Brian Head Welch on the show before.
We've had Brian, yeah.
If you go back to the old episodes, we've got interviews with all these dudes.
Yeah, actually, we have. We had an interview with Brian. We had an interview with Jason and with all of Phineas and the guys from Clever King.
Yep.
Yeah. Damn. Sometimes I forget like what we've had on. I'm like, Jesus, even I'm impressed.
I know. It's funny. I got an email the other day for discography discussion. They're like, "Hey, you said this about this band in your episode about them," and I was like, "We never do an episode on that band." And then I went back and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, apparently 3 years ago, we did, in fact, talk about that band. Guess I'll take them off the 2021 schedule.
You can revisit
it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that was my conversation with Jason Rao, again, of Love and Death, who's Rakered?
Rakered. Y'all go out there and pick up that there Rakered, okay? It's you can play it on your turntable.
Your turntable. Let me try that again. Yep. So that was my conversation with Jason Rao. Again, most of you will probably know him from Breaking Benjamin, but he's here to talk about the Love and Death record, which again is still up for pre-order. Perfectly Preserved is the name of the record. It comes out February 12th of next year, so you got a little while to actually wait to hear it. But yeah, it's really good. It's a really good record. You should pre-order it. The vinyl, actually the packaging for the vinyl and everything looks really cool. Like I think there's like a 12-page booklet like that folds out and all that kind of stuff, and just a lot of really cool shit in that package. Plus the vinyl looks pretty cool. So if you have the time, money, whatever, I mean, you got plenty of time to pre-order it. So go out and pre-order, support these guys. The live stream, I believe, I don't have that handy, but there's a live stream coming. Check that out as well. Oh, excuse me. I think they basically, as Jason said, they're probably going to play like half that new record. So you'll get to hear probably a good half of it before you even can buy it. So it's always pretty cool.
Yeah, I got to listen. I got to listen and then not tell anybody that I listened for a long time. I'm having problems with that. Sure, bro. Yeah, I could send you a copy. John's like, no, don't do that. It's like, right. Yeah. Not supposed to do that. Against the law. Illegal. Don't do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's watermarked with back to us, so it'll be very obvious where.
Bro, it's watermarked back to you. I've never been on this podcast before. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's why your name's in the email.
Totally. Oh, I know, right? I love how you'll send an email with the message, and you're like, da-da-da-da, sincerely, John, and they're like, hey, Dan, thanks for the email, and I'm like, I didn't email you. I don't even know who you are.
Yeah. Well, it happens. But all that said, if you would like to keep up with Love and Death, you can find them on Facebook at Love and Death Music, Instagram at Love and Death Music, and Twitter is at Love Death Music. And again, you can pre-order the new record over at loveanddeathmusic.com. If you would like to keep up with Jason, simple enough, you can find him at his name, Jason Rao, and that's Rauch, Rao. So, obviously, if you want to keep up with Breaking Benjamin, there's probably plenty of other things that you would be able to do to keep up with Breaking Benjamin. I don't know if they have any new music in the works or whatever. Not really the point. So basically, those are the two things that we're here to plug. Jason and Love and Death, we have done that. And now Dan will tell you where he can be found on the internet and where he can plug the things that he is all about.
Well, I'm all about all kinds of things. Obviously, you can find me right here on Twitch under Discuss Metal Dan, and I stream multiple times a week. Sometimes game streams, sometimes podcast streams, just whatever I think you guys really want to see, and all of that. But I also do two other podcasts. I do the Discuss Metal podcast over at discussmetal.com, which is another interview style podcast. And I also do Discography Discussion, which is a music review discussion podcast, which is exactly what it sounds like. We discuss the discography of whatever band we decided to pick that week. And hilarity usually ensues. But you can find me on Twitter at DiscussMetalDan. You can send me an email at discussmetaldan@gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook if you look up my first and last name, if you can find that. It's all up to you at this point. It's Daniel Terry. Just look it up. But yeah, and I can be found on some of the weird like conservative Trumper stuff, like MeWe and Parler.
Are you really?
We started. The way I look at it, man, is that stuff is just free real estate. I'm not there for Trump. I'm just there for people to listen to my stuff. So, it is what it is.
Can't wait for your Trapped episode.
My Trapped, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, here we go. Yep.
And for all things this podcast, simple enough, head on over to brewspeakpod.com. That is our landing page for everything you would possibly want to know about the podcast. Head on over to our YouTube channel. We actually, you can see video of this. A lot of the things we've been doing recently have been because we were using this same platform that we're doing the live streams from. They're YouTube versions. So basically, there's the conversation I did with Jason. One of the next interviews that we have coming up is a nice, almost 3-hour conversation with Shannon Larkin from Godsmack. We just did one with Tatiana from Ginger that Dan and I did earlier today. And we got a lot of content over on our YouTube channel. We actually hit over 300 subscribers. I was going to try to do the thing where I pick a random person for the winner, but I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. So if you're watching the live stream, be on the lookout for that. And then, we'll obviously get to the person that can then also win the 10% off over at enjoytheriderecords.com. So huge shout out to everyone who's been subscribing. If you are not a subscriber, head on over there. A lot of cool shit. We're trying to get some cool content up over there that we don't post everywhere else. So all the support is greatly appreciated. iTunes ratings, reviews, all that kind of stuff. The same thing you hear on every other podcast. Greatly appreciated on this one as well. Also greatly appreciated is our sponsors. I want to start off with the Bean Bastard. Head on over to thebeanbastard.com. Pick up some coffee. My favorite coffee is back. The Shitter's Full Blend. It is one of my favorites. Get you some before it gets sold out. You definitely will not disappoint. It's so fucking good. So yeah, Facebook and Instagram at the Bean Bastard. Also, On Point Pomade. I just saw that the premium pomade I've been using lately is now clear. It's no longer going to be in red. Some of the people, that's a corn record, Dan. I think so anyway. The pomade basically is now clear because I guess people were saying that they were getting some residual of the red, and Maddie and them changed it. It didn't change the impact of the actual pomade or anything like that. So it's really cool. Basically now, if you have the pomade as it exists, it's not going to be that way anymore. So you kind of have a collector's item of sorts. But thank you to thanks to On Point Pomade. Use our code BSP15 and take 15% off your total purchase order. A lot of great deals they've been running lately. So just kind of check their website, onpointpomade.com. And either use our code, or if they're running a promotion that's a little bit better, just take advantage of whatever you can. You can't double up on the coupons, unfortunately, but great product. We endorse them very much so. And so does Joe. So, even discography discussions already on it.
He's all about it.
Yes.
Every time I go over there, which honestly hasn't been recently, he's like, dude, you need to get some of this pomade. I'm like, I probably could. I just have to ask for it, but I haven't, because you guys can see I'm not really on point at all. Not like John is.
No, I put a beanie on today because my hair's past that phase where I'd have to use so much hairspray to keep it up.
Right.
But soon, I'm going to get my haircut soon and I'll be back to using it. But On Point Pomade, thank you for sponsoring us. And last but not least, rockabilia.com. Dan actually just got a package from them. Is he actually wearing the hoodie today? There he is.
I got this sweet, sweet, sweet death hoodie from Rockabilia, and I was telling John it's super comfy. It fit exactly how it was supposed to fit, which is really nice. Not to say that I couldn't afford to lose a couple of pounds after this Christmas season is over, but it fit really, really well. It's super high quality. It goes through the washing machine great, and I was really impressed with it. I really, really loved. I don't know. I just really loved how deluxe this hoodie was, and I can't really show you right now, but there was the back printing was really, really, really nice, and almost I don't want to say it was foil print, but it almost mimics foil print, and it just looks really, really, really good. It's the Human album cover, and love death so much. Love death, love, and death. It's all there.
And believe it or not, I'm hopefully going to get my package in the next day or two. I got a little bit of envy because Dan got his before me. I actually turned down getting an Every Time I Die hoodie I wanted, and maybe I'll pick it up soon anyway. But I picked up an old Throwdown hoodie that Bridget had, my wife, and then apparently we can't find it. So I basically got another one. But if you aren't familiar with Throwdown, go check them out. Go check out rockabilia.com. Use our code BREW15, use our code BREW15, takes 15% off your total purchase order. The store has over $500,000. The store has over 500,000 items in their online store, and they're all officially licensed through the band, so you never have to worry about the integrity of the product. As you heard Dan say, it speaks for itself when you get it. And I definitely am very much looking forward to getting my hoodie and actually, once again, just like every other sponsor we have on the show, utilizing and actually owning something and using the products that we have endorse us and sponsor us. So huge thanks to the Bean Bastard, On Point Pomade, and rockabilia.com. They are definitely helping us do a lot of cool things that we will announce soonish that we're working on currently. But for the Brutally Speaking podcast, I am John.
I am Dan.
We'll talk to you all next time.
Yeah, we will.
Like right now.
Yeah, like right now. Yeah, if you guys are here, we're here. I'm going to stop my recording here so I don't give John one giant long track here, but then we'll...
you were actually... Oh, okay.
Yeah, was I supposed to?
I wasn't.
Oh, okay. Well,
your internet connection seems to be fine tonight, and I'm not downstairs now, so...
Yeah, dude, my internet connection should be great because I got a new modem and router Monday, I think. Monday or Tuesday, I can't remember now. It's Monday or Tuesday. I got a new router and modem, and so now my internet connection is blazing fast. So that's been really, really nice. Well, it's like because for a while there, my streams were looking like hot garbage, like just like all pixels and stuff. Like I went back and looked at one of my Half-Life streams, and I was like, oh god, like what am I even doing here? Okay, I got to get caught up on this here on the chat here real quick. Let's see. Yeah, Ink's Nightmare on the 9th today. I've been on, yeah. It's all Nightmare Before Christmas. It's okay, cool. Yeah, send it to me on Facebook. That'd be really, really cool. I'll check it. Did you send it to me already? Because if you did, I'm gonna look at it right here in real time.
REEL.
Real. It's so real. Well, I definitely got a email from definitely got a friend request from somebody that probably isn't my friend. I don't know. We'll see. Let's have a look here. Got another one. Okay, I got you. Cool. Yeah, no, I don't want to block. Photo is covered from unwanted content. No, I want this content. Dude, these are awesome. These are sweet. I think this is the one I want. You see that?
No. That's
cool.
Like really tiny.
Good.
And now it's at an angle, so it's even worse.
Shut up. I don't know how to camera.
I mean, you could just screenshot
it. Whatever.
Me.
Huh?
I said you could send that to me.
No, I'm not doing it. Shut up. Anyway, that's the one I want. No, it's the one with Lock, Stock, and Barrel on it. Those are because I've got kids. I love Lock, Stock, and Barrel so much. And what's funny too is that I introduced my kids to Nightmare Before Christmas probably way earlier than I probably should have. And so now they just love it.
Are we talking like Easter or how early?
I want to say that my oldest she's 6 now, but she'll be 7.
That joke went right over your head.
What's that?
The joke went right over your head.
It did just woof back there somewhere.
Too early, so I was like, obviously, it's either like a Halloween or a Christmas movie, and or both. And then that's where I was like, Oh, like what? Like Easter? You showed it to her like around Easter, like too early?
Hey, the Easter Bunny's in the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, Nightmare Before Christmas was like they just like it as a regular movie. They don't think it's scary or weird or anything. But then like we'll watch a different movie where like somebody's in a bad situation, and they'll start like screaming because it's so terrifying. But then they'll go back and watch The Nightmare Before Christmas, and like that's fine.
Well, I
would say I oldest at like 4 or 5 on Nightmare Before Christmas.
I think this morning I started watching Girl on the Third Floor, the like sort of horror movie with CM Punk in it from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And there's a pretty gnarly scene toward the end of it where I was like, holy fuck. It was kind of like doing that thing where you're like, ugh. And yeah, I think it was like 8:30 in the morning and I'm watching horror movies.
Right.
But yeah, I
actually took a horror movie in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, now that I have a bunch of time off, like typically I've been plowing through a bunch of TV shows. Like I already finished the new season of Big Mouth. I'm just most of the way through this show called The Unicorn, which has got Walter Goggins in it, which I like him. So I've been watching that. It's sort of funny. And then sucks I don't have Showtime, otherwise I'd be watching Shameless, but I mean it's only one episode for the final season currently, so it is what it is there. Watch that movie today. I might watch the sequel to Train to Busan tomorrow. Caught up on the Atreyu live stream I missed from this past weekend.
Oh yeah, you missed it?
I mean, I did,
it's VOD, right? After
for a little bit, yeah.
Like if you buy a ticket, you can go back and watch it for a certain period of time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Apparently, from what I've heard, the Misery Signals one is phenomenal, so I think I might pony up the $10 and get that.
I know, right? So it's one of those. It's definitely one of those situations where I feel like really crappy because I was doing it. I think it was Saturday, right? That was the Misery Signals one.
Yep.
I got a. I'm in the middle of doing this really long KMFDM discography discussion, like 3 hours, and Joe Calderon of Lightworker sends me a message, and he's like, "Dude, you're watching this Misery Signals stream, right?" And I was like, "No." He's like, "Well, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm talking about some shitty industrial band that I don't really even like, and I'm going to be doing that for the next 2 hours." He's like, "Well, sucks to be you." I was like, "Wow, okay, thanks." But I feel terrible because like I really wanted to watch that. But it's just like anything, it costs money. And as soon as you feel like you've got money to pay for something, a tire falls off your car or your whole house, catches on fire or something.
Right. Yeah. I think the next one I'm going to, I don't know, since, I mean, basically for the next like 2 weeks, I'm not going anywhere. So, I mean, like I should have a whole bunch of extra money all of a sudden. I think the plan is to get a ticket for the Titathon that's going to happen here in the next, I think it's in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's basically what appears from the trailer. It looks like Every Time I Die is basically doing a Shit Happens, but like as a streaming thing. So I think there's going to be some performance, maybe of like a new song or two, which by the way, those new songs fucking rip. Holy shit.
I know. I saw a meme earlier that was all like under Trump, no new. I think maybe you sent it. I don't remember.
No,
but it's like under Trump, no new songs. Under Biden, 2 new songs.
Yeah,
yeah. Then Biden yet, but yeah.
Some of my favorites. There is the one with the guy like who's with a girl, but then another girl walks by him and he's like looking at her, and it's like Eated, and then it's like the girl he's with his low teens, and then it's like the 2 new songs. And you're like, yeah, it's very true.
I like me some low teens, okay?
Dude, I think I'm going to be excited when, for this new stuff, especially if it's going back, like he said, to more of like the kind of fun tongue-in-cheek he did lyrically. I
mean, I miss that kind of like hot damn, sort of vibe, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I also think I still really like low teens, but it's one of those where it's almost like an undertow. Like as soon as it starts, you can't not listen to the whole thing, and it's such an emotional fucking journey that by the time you're done with map change, you're like, fuck, man, like feel like I want shit.
You can't just pump it in the car. Like, it's just not that record.
Ironically, I mean, I do, but ironically, I feel like they made the most 2020 record 4 years ago.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Think about like it's a great record.
It's a total slog, and you don't know what's going to happen next at any given moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I think it's one of the few records like I know I'm going to cry during it, and I know exactly where I'm going to cry, and it's multiple times actually on that record, and those parts come, and it makes me get teary and choked up, and you're just like, fuck, man, it's so it's such a visceral record, and we
get very emotional on our metal show here. Yeah.
And what I do like about at least that record is talking to anyone, you know, I think even we did on the Easy Discography discussion, it's crazy how that's kind of the common sentiment from a lot of people is like, it's not a record I just go, oh, I'm going to listen to the 2 singles I want to hear. It's like, no, like it gets you the whole fucking thing, start to finish. You got to listen to it. And it's a very emotional record for a lot of reasons. And I saw Joe's comment.
Joe just showed up in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah.
John Beatty is about to cry me a river. You could only be so lucky.
Yeah, you know. They can hold all of our all of our hopes and dreams afloat on them.
I mean, I've seen, it's just like whenever your hopes fall. It's just like that. That joke is over. So, like, yeah, man, I'm super excited about any new ETID, obviously, and honestly, man, and this is going to be controversial, and I know it hasn't been that long, but like, I kind of want to hear some new like Norma Jean stuff.
There may or may not be some new Norma Jean in the works.
You know, Corey, if you're listening, just, send me a sign, send me something, send me a little postcard that says like something.
Shit, that reminds me. I don't think I texted him back.
Yeah, it happens. I mean, things happen. It's all good. Nobody's going anywhere. Like, this is the year where you can not text somebody back for months and like it's fine. Like, don't even worry about it.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Like, I've been kind of bad about texting some people, like, texting Shannon last night, just being like, hey, thanks for taking the time to do the chat. Sorry, I kept you for so damn long. And then I completely forgot all about it. And then basically went to bed, woke up the next morning and had a text back from him. And I was like, oh yeah. But it's like one of those sometimes, that new A Day to Remember is going to be garbage.
You think it's going to be garbage? Really? Have you heard it?
No, but have you heard the last record they put out after the... All right.
Why do you think I haven't done a discography discussion on A Day to Remember, John?
No, I mean, other than the last record and the newer stuff they've been putting out.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give too much away, but
yep.
I mean, okay. Yeah.
Oh man, that might be a fun guest to have for that episode.
We're on the same page on that.
Yeah. It's just weird that all of a sudden, something changes and, sound's not as good and the songs aren't as good. It's weird how that happens. But yeah, no, I'm not a fan of that. Honestly, other than maybe like Paranoia and like 2 or 3, the 2 Paranoia and like maybe 2 other songs off of Bad Vibrations, I thought the record as a whole was very underwhelming.
Really?
Yeah. Which sucks. I'm a pretty big A Day to Remember fan, even dating back to their first record, and their name was Treason.
Yeah.
Which, God, man, can you imagine if they played like some of the stuff off of that record? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Like if they're trying to go,
John, Slipknot putting out new stuff.
No,
they're not putting it out, but they're talking about new music in 2021.
Well, I mean, the thing is, and the thing that I think is always kind of interesting whenever Slipknot gets brought up, especially, is there's so many fucking people in that band that write, that it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, I guess in theory, like if Clown and Sid and maybe one other person were sending some ideas, yeah, new Slipknot is being worked on. But, there might be, just like it was with what, was it Volume 3 or not the Subliminal versus the same record, but All Hope Is Gone.
Yeah.
Basically, I think there were 3 different groupings of the band working on material. Yeah. And so, like, some of it is what you heard on that. Some of it is I think the record that they've talked about that is done, it's a full record, but it was recorded at the same time as All Hope Is Gone. I forget what they called it. It may be out. I don't know. So, I mean, I don't know. Whenever I hear that Slipknot is quote unquote recording or has ideas or writing music, I'm always like, well, what's Corey Taylor doing? And it's not the joke. Like, what does Corey Taylor think or anything like that? It's literally like, if he's ensconced in, usually Stone Sour, then it's like, well, then I expect no Slipknot music to be even worked on until that's done. That cycle is done. And same like right now, I know is obviously he's pushing a solo record. So, and Stone Sour's on the back burner. So it's probably going to at least be until this record's done before we'll even get another Slipknot record. So,
and the Knockout TTV, if you go on YouTube and look up the show Good Company with Bowling, our good buddy down in Atlanta, Scott Bowling, did a interview with Corey Taylor very recently. And he actually ended up going to Corey's house and doing the interview, which was super, super cool. And so, yeah, definitely check that out at some point because it's essential watching. It's all, oh, Joe just linked it, so never mind.
There you go.
Just click on Joe's link.
Yep. When you're done with that, you can watch the episode I did with Scott.
Yeah, you can watch. They can watch the Good Company with Bowling where he interviewed John here, and hopefully sometime early in 2021, me and Joe from Discography Discussion will also be down there to talk to our good friend Scott.
And then I'm going to rain on that and take him to Magic City.
I think Scott Bowling could put out a record called like
Super Friends.
CMB. CMFB. Yeah, CMFB. There it is.
It just doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
It doesn't, but I mean, I think you should put it out anyway.
That's awesome.
SMBF. I love that, dude. That needs to be, dude. I need to get Scott Bowling back on Twitter, and that needs to be his Twitter handle.
Scott motherfucking Bowling.
Yeah, dude. At SMBF. I love that. That's change approved. That's happening.
You know, I pick up spares and strikes all the time. It's Scott Bowling. That's how I roll.
I mean, DMFT is definitely something that I've thought about in the past. But then when Corey put that record out, I was like, yeah, never mind. I'm just gonna let that go. I'm just gonna keep going by Discuss Metal Dan instead of DMFT.
Speaking of discussing metal, let's knock out this last intro outro, and then we can keep bullshitting.
I'm gonna take a quick 30-second break before we do that.
Okay, now a word from a sponsor.
I'll be right back, folks. While I'm gone, listen to John Beatty talk. Welcome to John Beatty talk.
Well, now that I've taken over Dan's stream unofficially, I'm gonna crack open another beer. Well, actually, I'll wait until we're going, so at least I have can talk about it on the show. This beer's not good. Lucky bastards. Maybe. Know which one what. Hate my fucking chair. Won't stay up. Oh. Yeah, I ended up picking up a Trail Point beer. It's a vanilla Von Doom. It's a vanilla porter, and it's just very adequate. But like Dave Chappelle said, it'll get you drunk with the Samuel L. Jackson beer. Dan's probably drinking Space Dust, I believe, is typically what he's drinking. And then next, as I was kind of saying earlier, so Run the Jewels put out another series of beers, and it coincides actually very well with tonight. Cyberpunk 2027 is dropping as of when we're recording in my time zone in about an hour, I think 11:30. Yeah, so an hour and a half. but I did see someone actually say if you change your system to say you're in New Zealand, you can get the game right now. So I might fuck around and do that. But basically, Run the Jewels put out a song in the Cyberpunk game called No Save Point, and they released a whole shitload of beers. 13 breweries, 12 different beers across the world. I've slowly been collecting them. So, a friend of Dan and Joe's, Chris McCoy, his cousin, sent me this one from Modest, however you say it, down in Minneapolis. So this is their Run the Jewels beer. This is the one from California. This is a collaboration between Horace and Mason Ale Works. So they're all basically the same recipe, and each brewery kind of did their own thing to it. This is the one here in Grand Rapids where I live. It's their No Save Point, just a straight up, I think,
nice.
Just a straight up hazy IPA. But the guys in Grand Rapids and this is actually how they ended up getting to work with Run the Jewels. So the guys in at City Built did 4 different beers of their own of a Run the Jewels series. So you have your Cyberpunk, which is actually, I think I have only had this one out of the other, and the originals.
That's the only reason you want the game, John.
No.
Fair enough.
The game actually looks dope as shit.
It does look really, really cool. I'm a little bummed out that I won't be getting it day one, but I mean, that's just me. The only reason I've got Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War is because my buddy Alex just gifted it to me because he's like, I really want to play zombies with someone. And I was like, well, good luck with that. And he was like, if I buy you the game, you play zombies with me. And I was like, of course I will.
Yeah.
But like, then that poor guy, shout out to Alexander, by the way, who survived COVID and ended up getting pneumonia and is now surviving that. Poor guy tried to go back to work today and his boss was like, no. So
especially what happened to me today.
Yep. Shout out to that guy. So yeah.
I don't have COVID, but I'm not allowed to go back to work for, because of those reasons till the 21st. So a lot of fun.
Oh boy. Joe's sending us Scott Bowling memes again. Love it. All right. Yeah, let's get into this. We're doing a podcast. I forgot.
I probably don't want to say that on this.
That's fine. Dude, Scott Bowling memes are the best memes. I've sent him a couple of them. He thinks they're hilarious.
Oh, fair enough.
Hold on. The Knockout TTV has a question. We'll answer that question, and then we'll jump into our ginger episode. The floor is yours, my friend. Ask away.
What is it doing? I'm gonna go grab some whiskey.
Really? Okay.
Oh my God, the Metallica beer. All right, hold on. Before
I'm gonna let John field this question.
So, do you remember what episode it was that I had that on?
No.
Okay, so we were doing a podcast, and I think I don't even remember if we were doing live at that point. I might have been, maybe not. But yeah, I went and got that beer because I was like, this might be pretty cool. Metallica beer, like, it's kind of funny. They don't drink anymore, really. So whatever. That should have been my first hint not to get it. And the price point's a bit steep, even for a single can, of the beer. And I drank it while we were doing one of these because that's what I try to do. And it was one of the worst fucking beers I have ever had. It tastes like a shittier Heineken, if you can imagine. It's super skunky. It tastes so gross. And I think I made the comment that it tastes like Lars Snare sounds on St. Anger. Yeah, it is fucking atrocious. It is one of the worst beers I've ever had. On top of that,
like Lars Snare drum. I need to clip that and use that later.
It is not good. It is a fucking nasty beer. And I'm usually I didn't like the beer that I just drank. It was okay. I still finished it. I didn't because I pay for these and I don't want to be, I hate, seeing things go to waste. I didn't finish that beer. I dumped out. I took 2 more sips just to make sure it wasn't just the initial oh, that's gross. Maybe it tastes better after the next sip or 2. No, it's fucking disgusting. I would never buy that beer.
Tell us how you really feel.
Even if someone were to buy me and send it to my house and send me a free pack or whatever, I still wouldn't fucking drink it. It's absolutely disgusting. And it really does morbidly make me curious as to how bad that blackened whiskey is. Because if the
Ugh.
beer was that bad, I can only imagine how gross the fucking whiskey is.
The whiskey could be different, though. I mean, who knows?
I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't know about the Slipknot whiskey. I haven't been able to get it. I sometimes with some of these beers, like, I'm actually going to try to see if I can get the Hatebreed beer sent to Dan and I feel like we talked to Frank already from Hatebreed and a little bit about the beer, but I mean, we're kind of one of the perfect shows to be able to be sent some of these things and try them, because that's literally part of our name and all that kind of stuff. Thankfully, sort of anyone who can watch this or will watch this, back here in my closet, I have all the Deftones beers basically sitting on a shelf that I've not drank. So I have friends that, and I've gotten really clever at finding ways to acquire things that don't exist where I live. But the Slipknot whiskey, I don't even know where it's available. I would assume somewhat near Dan and I, being here in the Midwest, it's got to be available at least in Iowa.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen it anywhere. So and the Maiden beer is not great either. But I guess it all really depends on what you're into. Actually, what I kind
of like the Maiden beer. I didn't really mind
the Le Petite, whatever the fuck, the Megadeth beer wasn't that great either. The one thing I do want to try, and I talked to his kid about it, is Bruce Dickinson's sake.
Interesting.
I had just seen that they had made a sake when we were at when we were at Sonic Temple a couple years ago, and I talked to Griffin from Shapes, RIP Shapes. But apparently his dad put out like a Japanese sake, and I was like, how is it? And he was like, oh, it's really fucking good, and blah, blah, blah. So, and I got bonus points because he's like, thank God. As soon as you asked me about my dad, I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. And then you brought up sake, and I was like, oh, cool. Like, it's not like, it's like having Bruce Dickinson as your dad.
I don't drink sake very often.
I've never had it.
I have a really, really funny story about sake, though. I haven't had sake since my honeymoon. And my wife and I were on a cruise for our honeymoon. And we were trying this sake out because neither one of us had really had it. And because it doesn't like really taste alcoholic, it's not like a high alcohol content beer, like it is. It's really smooth. It tastes basically like rice. It's a nice simple taste. And so we took like 4 or 5 shots of sake, and like my wife doesn't drink like really at all. So like for her it was just like, oh, this is really good. Like I really, really enjoyed this or whatever. And then we had quite a few shots of sake, and probably 30 minutes later we were like, oh no. Yeah, this stuff's a lot stronger than we had anticipated. And so it's just kind of like really, really, really funny because it's really a very dangerous drink in the sense of like, if you're worried about getting inebriated, like you absolutely can in like record time drinking sake. So I definitely enjoy the taste, but I haven't tasted any real sake since that honeymoon cruise. Like, would definitely try again, but I haven't really had an opportunity for that. No, Joe, I'm not going to drink Jaeger. I don't like licorice. I don't like black licorice, so I'm not going to drink Jaeger. Sorry. Not into that. It's not how I roll. I mean, if you want to go, like, I'll go for some like trashy gas station Jim Beam in like a plastic bottle, but I will not do Jaeger. I'm not into Jaeger at all, like even a little bit.
And I have so many memories of drinking Jaeger back in the day.
Sure, you do.
It's like one of my least favorite things that happened was going to a bar asking for a Jaeger bomb, and the dude gave me it, and then I like basically spit it out. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then he was like, "Jaeger bomb," and I was like, "No, there's like something wrong with this." Like, and then finally he's just like, "Oh, well, like it's I I was like, what's in this? And he's like, well, it's Jaeger and Rockstar. And I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, who puts Rockstar in their fucking Jaeger bombs? Like,
Rockstar is terrible. Like, as far as energy drinks go. And I just want to read this comment real quick from Tasha Love from Twitter. Says, I just bought a pre-order of Cyberpunk for my husband as an early Christmas gift. He's stoked to create and play it. I'm super stoked about Cyberpunk. I'm just not going to get to play it for a couple of weeks. So hopefully there's not like, hopefully not too many people spoil it for me beforehand. Cause like, I don't want to find out after waiting for all this time that like, it sucks or there's some kind of game breaking bug in it. And like, that's unfortunately the world that we live in right now, where a game can come out and everybody can hate it for some arbitrary reason. But yeah, no, that's awesome though. That is a sweet Christmas present. Absolutely.
So something that my wife and I found, because we obviously can't go to bars and shit, is so we've been stocking up our dry bar. When we were looking for some rum to add to the collection because we don't have rum, ended up finding this. So anyone who knows Southern Tier, obviously they're a brewing company, which apparently now they distill. And one of my favorite Southern Tier beers is the Pumpkin and the Warlock and all of the other subsequent pumpkin beers that they release as a result of that line. So apparently now they put out a pumpkin whiskey. And this is surprisingly really fucking good.
That looks good.
Like I remember Bridget being like, she was like, oh, I have something to show you. And I was like, I think it was like $30. And I was like, $30. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, it's either going to be really good or it's going to be really fucking terrible. I don't see there being much of a middle ground. And so we took it home and then I was like, well, what do you fucking mix with it? And
I don't mix anything with whiskey.
Oh, see, like depending on what it is, but I was almost thinking the other day, maybe like a vanilla Coke might be good with it. Like, so you kind of get that vanilla flavor with the pumpkin flavor. So it almost makes like a pumpkin pie kind of thing.
Yeah.
Haven't tried that yet, but if anyone can find this in your area, this is really good.
The last really good bottle of whiskey I had was a like a $70 bottle of Bushmills.
Nice.
Yeah, it was, and I made it last forever. I mean, I probably had it for like a year because it was so good. It had this kind of smoothness to it where I felt like I was like sipping on like the reed of like a woodwind instrument. It's like it tasted like straight wood, but like I'm fine with that. I love to taste wood. Yeah, that's right. Take that in whatever context you want.
Do you
what's that?
Do you like wine?
No.
Okay, interesting.
Not a big fan of wine. No. I like more bitter stuff, and like so this Bushmills was like the perfect combination of just like drinking a tree log.
Screwball is pretty good. I recommend it's a lot sweeter than you think it's going to be, especially when you think peanut butter whiskey. It's actually pretty good. I recommend either getting it with a shot of Chambord, so you kind of get a peanut butter and jelly. It's kind of a fun thing to do. Or if there is more of a kind of like another kind of like jammy sort of liquor or liqueur, drink it with that after trying it as is by itself, so you can kind of get a really interesting peanut butter jelly jam kind of concoction. So this is the kind of stuff my wife and I do. We love drinking and mixing things together and just kind of thinking of fun drinks to have. So when people are like, I don't want to do shots, and it's like you're thinking like, oh shit, I'm gonna get like a mind eraser, and you're like, no, it's like peanut butter and jelly. Or like white gummy bears and Ninja Turtles and pool waters and all these kind of fun things.
I mean, if anybody can ever perfect the taste of actual motor oil, that would be my favorite. That would be my favorite drink of all time. I like my beer like I like my metal, man. I like it super harsh
and sludgy
and super sludgy, like just straight dirge. Like think Zao the well-intentioned virus level of dirge. That's what I want out of my beer. I still haven't gotten a copy. I still haven't gotten a bottle of the Zao beer. I feel like I need to get that.
They had a beer?
I feel like I've earned that. Yeah, dude. Zao had their own beer. I think it was an IPA. It's called no. It was a stout, I think, called Burned at the Stake.
Mm.
Oh, that was super awesome. I loved that.
Can't remember. Did I try that steak beer on this show? Or did I tell you about it at least?
No.
Yeah, that was gross. You want to talk about sludgy beer? Holy shit, looked like I was pouring crude oil into a cup.
See, that sounds exactly up my alley.
Yeah, but it tastes like steak.
I like steak.
In a beer?
I don't know. We'll see.
Fair enough.
We'll find out. All right. So we got to get this ginger episode underway. This was the big highlight of our day. Talking to Tatiana from Ginger. She was super cool.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Brutally Speaking podcast. I am one of your hosts, John, and with me, as always, is Daniel Terry. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just as great as I was on the last episode that we did. Peek behind the curtains, kids. We do multiple episodes in one day. So I'm doing pretty well.
Literally, we do multiple episodes. We actually, the interview you're about to hear with Tatiana of Ginger, we did, as of when we're recording this, probably 6 hours ago.
Yeah, not that long ago. So, this was a ton of fun. I definitely came in at the last minute on this one, and the way I like to see it is that I saved the day. But John did most of the talking, as typically is what makes him feel better at night. This was a lot of fun. It was cool, kind of, because we don't really talk fashion on the podcast that often. No. And but it's really, really important because eventually we're going to end up interviewing somebody from 18 Visions, and it's going to be the same conversation about fashion.
I mean, technically, I did do that already. I talked to James. We talked about fashion. That episode exists.
It does. It's a real thing that you can go listen to.
All 15 minutes of it.
But it was very fashionable.
Yeah, no, Dan's obviously poking fun at a question I had asked Tatiana, but the interesting thing about talking with her is, as Dan kind of alluded to, I had asked Dan if he could make the interview for quite a while, and it just didn't seem like it was going to pan out. And then last minute, probably an hour or 45 minutes before, you're like, hey, so I can do it. And I'm like, okay. I literally just finished my questions. So whatever.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Dan was kind of as we kind of powwowed, 30 minutes leading up to the chat, is Dan's like, well, I'm thinking of asking this. And I was like, oh, I, just spent the last 2 days looking and reading all these interviews, watching all these interviews, some of which Dan has gone back and actually watched since then and definitely understands where I was coming from. Where I'm like, yeah, don't ask that because this is going to be your response. And I think I definitely saved a sort of embarrassing moment at times happening.
Well, so we're basing this off of some of the interviews that Tatiana had done, last year, and when they had just gotten off of probably the longest tour that they had done, and so she was dealing with just an onslaught of questions, and even I felt bad because I know that whenever we did our interview, we were just in line of a bunch of other interviews that she had to do that night. So I was very appreciative that she was as receptive to our questions as she was. But I totally understand it because I know some people have said some things oh, she's very, unapproachable in interviews and, doesn't give, good answers, or whatever. And that wasn't really the impression that I got at all. She seemed very she wanted to make sure that she answered everything to the best of her ability, and even leading to an awkward moment with me where I was like, yeah, I didn't really even ask a question. I was just talking. That's just what I do. Which it's cool. And but yeah, some of those other interviews, I'm really just chalking a lot of those up to she was tired and they had played so much and they had done probably the most work as a band that they had ever done, because last year they were probably at the height of their popularity. Not to say that has diminished in any way. No. They're still very, very popular and very, very, very well loved. And but I think that's the only ray of sunshine that we're kind of pulling out of this COVID world, is that everybody's at home. So it's one of those things where it's a little bit easier to sit down and have kind of more of a formal interview and talk about these things, without the pressure of like, man, in 20 minutes I'm going to have to go interview with 6 other people. But I mean, she had that with us and doing the press for the live album. And I got to say, man, that live album it felt good, man. It felt good watching a band that I like in a quote unquote live setting, drop all their stuff. So like, honestly, like for me, I felt like, with the combination of that live album as well as the Prophecy video, they're doing a really, 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 really good job of they're doing a really, really good job of kind of selling us that idea of like, it is not going to be like this forever.
Yeah.
And eventually we're going to get back to this. And that was really my biggest takeaway from all of this, is that like, eventually we're going to go see a Ginger show and it's going to be cool. And they're going to be, we're all going to be together and we're going to enjoy it. We're not going to have to worry about all of these external factors.
Well, it's kind of funny, and actually something I didn't get to mention in the interview itself, just due to time, was you had made the mention that at times the band had kind of caught some backlash for basically not wearing masks because of when the video came out, and something it reminded me of is when my wife and I were watching Law and Order SVU, and sometimes they wear masks in the show, as much as they can or have to, to kind of at least show that they're doing it. But what was interesting is my wife was like, I wish they maybe didn't wear masks, because it's like I have to deal with that shit all day. So like I watch TV shows to kind of escape the reality of my situation. And I had kind of made the comment, I was like, yeah, but like, unfortunately we live in a world where like, if they don't, then you're going to hear a lot of people go like, what the fuck? Like they aren't wearing masks and that's not safe, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. And, we definitely addressed that with Tatiana, of just basically being like, like straight out the gate, I kind of made the comment. I was like, it felt weird watching a show and seeing people and crowd surfing and being so on top of each other, like, they are at a metal show. So it's a thing where it's weird that here we are, 7 months removed from basically when all this shit started. And, you see an awesome live show like this Alive in Melbourne show, and your initial reaction is just like, oh, it seems so foreign and weird.
Yeah.
Or will it ever go back to this? And it kind of made me sad. It made me like stoked, because like, I said to you, and like I think I said in the chat, it reminds me of why I love going to shows, and basically how connecting music can be. Like you can be in a room full of strangers and you're all sharing in a shared moment, not to be redundant, but it also now, in hindsight of everything we've gone through, it's almost like, will it ever be like that? Will we talk about shows like, like we were talking about in the Prophecy video? Are we going to look at a video like Prophecy and be like, you remember the times where you could have, a house show? Not anymore. Like it's sad to kind of think like that. And it's a little bit, maybe morbid, but it is one of those things that, because of how this year has gone, it's just kind of weird to not think like that when you see, this live video and so on and so forth. So it's, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting thought, as we were talking with her. And, I definitely think, in spite of, what kind of Dan was saying about, it being kind of an interesting chat. I think the fact that I think people kind of forget that English isn't her first language or the band's first language. And I think they do really fucking well. Being able to have the conversation in spite of the fact that, this, I think, being their second or third language that they speak. I think Tatiana did very well. I think in every interview I've ever seen her do, she does very well. And something I've actually always said is, I love talking to, and something I've actually taken away from talking to people that aren't from here in the US or English isn't their first language, is I learned that when you don't know the word or the phrase that you're trying to say, instead of just talking through the whole fucking thing, like, which is a very, I think, typical American thing to do, you find that they will stop and think of what they're trying to say,
Yeah.
and then come up with the appropriate word that they have landed on. And I think if a lot more of us were to actually do that, I think, because I think the problem is we're all afraid to come across as kind of dumb or not intelligent. And I think that's something that I have taken away from talking to a lot of foreign people on this podcast, is that it has allowed me to realize that it's okay if you don't know what you're trying to say to just stop and think.
I think we could all benefit from stopping and thinking about what we're going to say before we say it.
Absolutely.
Myself included.
I actually think that's probably as good of a segue as we're going to get into this chat with Tatiana from Ginger. So we will see you guys on the other side of it.
Sweet. Do we have a teaser for that?
Yeah, I guess I can try to pull that up.
Let's throw a little bit of a teaser in there. Let's throw a little snippet of our conversation with Tatiana. Also, I love that sweater she was wearing. I want that sweater. Like, not specifically her sweater, but like another one. It wouldn't, if I got her sweater, it wouldn't fit me.
Hold on a second.
That's cool. I'm gonna pee real quick.
Okay.
Like, real quick. Fastest pee you've ever seen. So, I mean, you're not gonna see it. That's only on my OnlyFans.
Let me see if I can do this from our other.
Do it.
Our other, my other screens. And give me a second to see what I'm doing on my other screen. Right. So I should be able to go here. I can't hear what she's actually saying on this one. I don't know if anyone can hear this. So you can hear it, so you're probably hearing it from my speakers. See, I was trying to figure out, because typically I can, and this is what I was trying to figure out.
It's heavy, but the fur is quite dense. And I thought it was a little bit, it's not tough, but coarse, yeah. But no, it's fluffy. It's like the smoothest feel that you can find. And I don't remember the smell. It obviously didn't have very horrible smell, but yeah, really heavy, and I was afraid.
Well, I will have to try to.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to force that on you.
No, it's fine.
I shouldn't have.
I just wasn't entirely sure how to make that work, but because like the other time I did it with the chat that we did with Morgan, that was already uploaded to YouTube, so I was able to pull that already and then share that and the audio. Whereas this one, it's like I don't really have that loaded because I was busy doing other stuff today. But tomorrow, I'll post a clip tomorrow. But basically, what you were listening to was basically Tatiana talking about because the DVD they put or live stream they put out was from Melbourne, in Australia, and we were talking about if she done any touristy stuff. So she went to the animal sanctuary that I'm sure you have seen so many people in bands go to, where they get to hold the koalas and pet kangaroos and all that kind of stuff. And it was really cool, kind of getting to talk to her about petting koalas and so forth, and what do they feel like, because chances are I'm probably never going to get to hold a koala. So
yeah, me neither. But I mean, I'm not that upset about it, but maybe I would be if I actually held a koala. Who knows?
Trying to remember, we did say I already got to the point where we're basically doing the other half of the outro on this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just couldn't remember. All right. Time for another shot of whiskey.
Definitely. There's no better time.
Not like I gotta work.
I mean, I do, but it'll be fine. Probably.
God damn, that's so good. It's so good once it hits your lips. So that was our conversation. Yes, our conversation with Tatiana of Ginger.
That's right. I'm actually on this podcast.
But this was a lot of fun. Actually, what a lot of people maybe aren't aware of is we have been circling getting Tatiana. I think this was the fourth time we've basically been trying to schedule getting her on the show. Amongst a lot of the touring, as you kind of heard us talk about in the intro, I think there were at least two other opportunities while the band was touring here in the States that I would have had to have talked with her. I think one of them, she had kind of vocal issues or whatever.
Yeah,
and kind of on vocal rest, so like it kind of didn't end up happening last minute. I think the next time that they came through, there was just some scheduling issues, and it didn't happen then. Then shortly before all of this, but I don't think they were on. Don't think they were on tour. I think they were home, but they were getting ready to release something. Might have been the Macro EP, and it just turned into a thing where just couldn't work out timing for that. And then this just kind of fell into our laps to finally have it work. And sort of like Dan said, this pandemic has kind of made a lot of interesting opportunities present themselves. As you'll definitely end up hearing when we drop the Shannon Larkin episode, drummer from Godsmack, Amen, Wrathchild, or, the blues, Apocalypse Blues revival band. That basically we got like 3 hours with them, and there's no way that would have happened if we weren't in the middle of a pandemic. So
that's funny.
So this was a lot of fun. Tatiana was really awesome to talk to, and kind of even get to talk about something that we haven't really gotten to talk about. And yes, he did allow that. We talked a little shit about Sully though.
I mean, it happens.
And it's right in the front of the interview too.
Which we won't be that way, if we ever talk to Sully. So
yeah, we won't sully his good name.
We would never. Shannon's a better drummer.
Absolutely is. That's why they didn't call fucking Sully Erna to play on the Worship and Tribute record.
They absolutely did not. They needed an actual professional.
Actually, here's the fun thing. Did you know? And I'm totally ruining this for when we talk about it later. But
yeah.
Did you know that he was on the Vanilla Ice rap rock record?
Yeah, I did know that. You
knew that Shannon played drums on that? I did not.
Yeah, it was the what was that called?
Goes down, or just, I don't know, something about drinking.
I don't remember what it was called. Yeah, but yeah, I know because Vanilla Ice collaborated with a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, but I guess it was done by Ross. But yeah, when he told me that, I was like, get the fuck out of here, really?
Yeah.
I learned a whole bunch of stuff during that chat. But no, it was really cool getting to talk to Tatiana, and I really appreciate the fact that she does so many of the interviews. Yes, he did play with Black Sabbath, and we talked about that too. I really enjoyed the fact that she and all of her band does so many interviews in English. I definitely know that I could not do the interviews the other way around. So the fact that there are so many interviews where they, are speaking, their native tongue, I think Russian, Ukrainian, I think are the two languages they both speak, and English, and maybe one other one. But the fact that they are able to actually do a lot of these interviews and actually speak very well. Definitely better than ever I could. So I would, just want to say thank you to Tatiana for answering our questions, as weird as maybe they would have been. I definitely know in my research, I did not come across anyone that kind of talked about any of the stuff that we really did. And I think, it was kind of interesting. Dan and I kind of went back and forth about, I kind of felt it was more of a 90s hip hop R&B kind of style, as I'm currently still wearing the same Aaliyah shirt I was earlier. And Dan was like, oh, I kind of feel like it's new metal. And so for her to kind of agree with both of us, it was kind of interesting to see that, it's something that we were kind of on the right path on in each of our own ways.
Also, can we both appreciate how generic John and I are being each other right now? Like, John's wearing an Aaliyah shirt and I'm wearing a Zayo shirt. It's just like, it's a match made in heaven, man. It's everything that we're all about all at once.
It is. It definitely is. And it's something, that's why I think it kind of really stuck out to me when looking back through a lot of Tatiana's outfit choices and so forth. But definitely someone that I think is going to be someone that we need to keep an eye on in the rock and metal world. And I say rock because I definitely could see Ginger then going down more of a quote unquote traditional rock realm eventually. And it wouldn't be that weird. I think they could pull it off.
Yeah, I think so too. And like, if I'm being totally honest, after reviewing all of the Ginger albums on Discography Discussion, I think their best work is still yet to come.
Absolutely.
It's not even that like their stuff that they have is like trash, but it's really, really, really good, and the potential is there. But I can definitely see this band making a crossover, unlike anything that we've probably seen in a long time, from the metal to general mainstream audience.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to seeing what the band has in store for them afterwards. If you would like to keep up with, let me try that again. If you would like to keep up with Ginger, simple enough. Ginger Official on everything, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you would like to just kind of keep up at the central hub, ginger-metal.com. That'll be your landing page for anything going on over there. Check out their YouTube channel. They actually have one of the more curated channels I've seen from a lot of bands, tons and tons of full shows, some quote unquote bootlegs from fans, one track playthroughs or one-time playthroughs of songs by individual members, covers that they have done. They really are a band that, even though they're maybe not, as you heard Tatiana kind of joke at the end, not super, active on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, YouTube is actually a really interesting one where they are very active on and post a lot of interesting stuff. So
yeah,
definitely worth the follow. And speaking of being worth a follow, Dan will tell you where he can be followed at.
Well, if you're watching me on Twitch right now, you know that I can be followed here on Twitch. Please leave me a follow. I'm very, very, very close to Twitch affiliate status, which will allow me to make better quality streams for all of you all. And on top of that, you can find my other podcast, Discography Discussion and Discuss Metal, at discussmetal.com. We do new content every week, in addition to Brutally Speaking. So if you just can't get over the sound of my voice, you can absolutely check out every single one of those podcasts. Give us a follow, give us a like. You can send us an email at discussmetaldan@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at discussmetaldan. So I'm all over the place. So, check us out.
And for everything this podcast, you can find us simply enough at brewspeakpod.com. We have a pretty great website, I think, with some interesting features. We like to... Yeah, we plug a lot of different things, like some of our friends' shows, Discography Discussion being one of them, the Talk to Me podcast, which congratulations to those to him for hooking up with I think it was the Classic Metal Show podcast network or something like that, the CSM network. So congratulations to him for finding a new home for the show, and all of those guys collectively getting together. Everyone obviously is stronger when you start bonding together, and I'll kind of leave that there. We'll definitely kind of pick up on that at a later date and time. But yeah, Brew Speak Pod is where you can find us. Go to YouTube. You can actually see Dan and Tatiana and I all chatting together, doing a lot better with putting our own content on YouTube and creating things that people will enjoy seeing. Shout out to everyone who's been enjoying the King episode. Pleasantly surprised at the positive reactions from that. I was definitely
John outdid himself on that episode, man. You did, dude. Like eggshells, but you did great. You powered through it, and there was some mutual respect there.
Seems to be a rather common sentiment actually on that. So definitely wasn't expecting it, but I'm pleasantly surprised at all the positive reactions from it. So definitely great. Thank you for all the support over there. Just like every other podcast, rate, review, subscribe, do all that kind of stuff to help support us. And speaking of supporting, we want to shout out our podcast sponsors, starting with the Bean Bastard. Head on over to the Bean Bastard, get you some delicious coffee. They still have the Shitters Full Blend if you can get it. I always buy so many bags of that shit when they have it because it's a seasonal release. So if you are able to get it, go pick it up. It is super delicious, and I'm not even the world's biggest coffee drinker, but holy shit, it's fucking delicious. On top of that, head on over to rockabilly.com. Dan got his death hoodie, as you heard in the last episode. I'm still waiting for my throwdown hoodie, but I already know it's going to be great. And, you know, that's the thing about Rockabilly. They have over 500,000 items in their online store, all officially licensed through the bands, so you never have to worry about the integrity of the garments that you're getting. You know they're going to be good, and they're not going to just basically fall off and, you know, tear apart after a couple washes. I think that
my hoodie absolutely has not fallen apart, and I put these things through some pretty bad abuse. So
I was gonna say, I know that was a big thing for you, is you being like, wow, this actually is a really nice hoodie. So take it from us. We actually endorse the things that we are sponsored by here on the show. So go to rockabilly.com, use our code BREW15, take 15% off your total purchase order. And last but not least is On Point Pomade. Head on over to onpointpomade.com. Use our code BREW15 and take 15% off your total purchase order. Keep your beard and hair looking on point, especially for the holidays. They might be running a deal actually for the holidays. It's a little bit better than our coupon, but just head on over there and support those guys. Make great quality products. I know, as we said last week, and as you maybe heard Joe on Discography Discussion, he uses their pomade, and he is a firm believer behind it as well. So it's a great product, and I definitely stand behind it. And once I get my haircut, I'll definitely go back to showcasing it here on the show. So without further ado, this is for the Jesus Christ. So without further ado, for the Brutally Speaking podcast, I am John.
And I am, as always, Dan.
And we'll talk to you all next week.
Hey, John, do you feel like we need to pull Brandon Kellum into the live stream?
We can.
Let's do it.
I actually do have some questions about Detroit, because I think I might want. I found a copy for really cheap, so I might buy it.
Brandon, I'm sending you the link, man. You gotta jump in, man. You have to do it. There's not a question about it. You have to do it. You have to do it. Oh no. Brandon, you are joining this stream. You're doing it. None of that caught the tail end. I'm gonna be super upset now if you don't show up. No pressure.
Except all the pressure.
All the pressure in the world.
Well, I mean, I feel like out of all of us that should play that game, it should be me. I live like 3 hours away. 2.5 hours. Also, this beer is not great either.
What are you drinking now?
Drinking a chocolate peanut butter, the CPB from, where the fuck is this from? Big, is that what it's called? Lupulin, Lupulin, Lupulin Brewing. But yeah, it is. It's not good.
Yeah. I sent Brandon the link, so if he doesn't show up, I'm going to be upset.
Well, I mean,
I'm going to cry.
He constantly lets me down, so it's fine.
I mean, he doesn't let me down. He never lets me down.
We'll find out. I mean, it's only like what?
It's early.
It's like 8 o'clock this time?
It's early.
No, he's 2 hours behind me, so it's only 9. I mean, I get it. Cyberpunk. No, Alex, chocolate peanut butter beer actually can be pretty fucking good. But the problem is so the interesting thing about peanut butter beer, I'll just kind of go to peanut butter more specifically. So the interesting thing about peanut butter beer is sometimes people you'll put peanut butter, but they'll start mixing chocolate in it and then not call it a chocolate peanut butter beer or whatever. Yeah, it's 11:15 my time. I think it's 10:15 Dan's. Obviously it would be though. But that's the funny thing. That's actually the funny thing about beer in general is sometimes you will have a beer somewhere and what some people will do to it, you're like, oh, like we'll just say, this peanut butter beer. Some people will go more like a peanut butter cup, which actually isn't just peanut butter, it's chocolate and peanut butter. So it's always kind of an interesting thing of where someone will take a beer, especially when you do a certain flavor like chocolate. Chocolate can be really good. One of my favorites is the I think it's Young's chocolate. It's like an organic chocolate. I can kind of see it. It's usually a little bit of a taller bottle. Kind of has it looks like it'd be really expensive, but I think it's only like $4 or $5. But that is like a chocolate beer, like a chocolate. It's super fucking sweet and delicious. And if you mix it with their cherry beer and you get like a nice cherry chocolate flavor, super fucking good, which is basically what the Big Luscious is from Founders that they just put out seasonally around this time of year.
Right.
But that's kind of the thing that gets really interesting about beers is, like Dan, like with Space Dust. I mean, I think Dan can even agree. Sometimes is Space Dust just a regular IPA or is it a DIPA or a New England?
It's a regular.
It's just a regular. Is it a hazy?
It's a little bit hazy. I don't think they advertised it as that, but it is. Yeah, a little bit of a hazy beer.
Okay. But I mean, like even just those few beers that we just described between a hazy, a DIPA, a New England style, and so forth. And I mean, even like this Deftones one that I just got the other day. So these are a dry hopped, it's a double dry hopped IPA. So, I mean, like you start getting into different things and it turns into a thing where you just start realizing that different beers taste different ways, even though there should be in theory the same. Horrible. Mine or yours?
Your audio is horrible. My audio is incredible.
It's probably my audio.
No, you sound good, dude.
Yeah, you're fine. I've heard worse.
You sound beautiful. Like a beautiful bearded man.
Now he muted himself.
I know he's muted. You muted yourself.
No, he's leaving.
Gone.
He's probably gonna go get his like Apple headphones or something. Those $600 headphones that just came out.
Oh man, yeah. I was talking to Alex about that the other day. He was like, "Dude, I really want these headphones, but I don't want them $540."
Yeah, I think if they were more reasonably priced, like actually like the headphones not these ones, but the ones I just bought, the Beats Pros, the like over the ear ones, shouldn't interfere with anything, but these guys, I just bought these and then I went out for a walk with my dog and then she ate one of them. But thankfully, I usually only wear one headphone at a time when I'm wearing them at work or whatever. But it still sucks to have basically spent like $250 on headphones and they're half eaten already.
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, like,
I'm sure you get the same thing with kids.
Well, yeah, don't tell me how many headphones I've had that have been eaten. But like, I definitely, I was telling Alex the other day, I was like, how much do you think it actually takes Apple, or how much it costs Apple to actually make these headphones? And I was thinking probably like $65. Oh, there he is. I can't hear him. He's there. I see him. That's all that matters. Yeah.
I'm sure it's probably even worse, but right now I can't understand what you guys are saying.
Bro, just plug in some headphones. Plug in some like earbuds.
Let me see if I can find some headphones.
Here's actually, I guess, while Brandon's gone and maybe there's some parents in this chat. So it's been kind of funny. I've actually been seeing a lot of people who are sharing I don't want to call it a meme. I think it's just basically like a news article of sorts where someone made a social worker supposedly made a thing where it's like, if you are parents and you're buying kids your gifts or whatever, don't let the like super nice expensive gifts be quote unquote from Santa, because there are kids that will go to school and see kids who got iPads and new Xboxes, PlayStations, and so forth, and we'll be like, well, why didn't I get these things? And it makes them feel bad. I've always said that, like, I don't have kids. I'm never going to have kids. But it's always one of those things, like, I've never understood that rationale of basically mom and dad got me fucking socks, but Santa got me, the most baller gifts. And I've never really understood that. And not necessarily for the reason that they are making, like, where it's like, because you don't want to perpetuate that Santa only gives the bomb gifts and that kind of makes other kids feel bad. I was always like, because like fucking raise me up, like, yo, I'm the shit. I fucking bought you all this stuff, like not fucking some imaginary person. What have you done, Dan? Like, how have you handled that?
It's been hard because, like, to a certain extent, it's like, I don't lie to my kids. It just seems like a weird violation of trust. But at the same time, like, it was definitely fun as a kid believing in that sort of stuff. I don't know. I don't have a good answer. My kids, they like Santa. But at the same time, like, I'm not trying to like sell them the idea that like Santa made them, a tablet for Christmas or something like that.
I tried my best, he says.
All right, Brandon is not joining us. We just got those couple of little screenshots.
Well, I didn't even get to ask him what he thought of the what the new Eats did. And now he can't. Don't answer that in the chat. That's horseshit. You come on the show and actually talk about it. Actually, speaking of, I feel like we should do the four of us should all get on a Patreon and just talk about those two songs.
We should. Absolutely. 7.5 hours later.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how we handle it. We never even did the Santa thing because I wanted to take the credit for that shit. Yeah, absolutely. I would too. And I know that's super selfish of me that I would want to be like, yo, I'm the shit. Like fucking oh fuck.
Me.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, going back to Spell Show, hooray for me. Hooray for me. I got you those things.
No doubt. 100%.
But I don't know. I never really thought of, I guess, the social ramifications of other kids basically being like, all I got were clothes or hand-me-downs and stuff like that. And, my classmates basically from Santa got iPads or new Xboxes and so forth. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's really weird. I kind of think about some of these things like growing up, like how weird it must be growing up now versus, I mean, I think I'm a little bit older than you, maybe by like a year or two.
Maybe, yeah.
How old are you again? 32?
34.
34. Okay, so 2 years. But yeah, I mean, like, even look back to like the mid 80s, obviously, like, we didn't have the internet and stuff like that. So when you heard kids saying like, oh, Santa's not real, and you're like, well, how do you know? I mean, I know it happens at a young age, but it's still one of those things. And then obviously if you start putting religious connotations attached to it as well, yeah. That, like, that gets a little dicey too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, just a very interesting conversation. And as I keep seeing, some people talking about like, oh yeah, I bet, Alex. I bet that it's I bet it's really hard, actually. I guess I haven't even thought of that as like how other parents are probably like sort of trying to keep the lie going, basically, like, well, don't let your kid be the one that fucking ruins it for mine. And it's like, so what? You have to actually have a real conversation with your fucking kids. God forbid.
Totally. I get that. It is what it is. Oh, man.
Dan's like, man, you just took it into a really weird space.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I get it. I think that pretty much does it for our stream tonight, though. What I'm going to do is I'm probably going to pitch our stream over to my friend Buddy El Reno, who just made Twitch affiliate status. And we can go over there and give him some love. And he's playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla tonight. So,
I heard a lot of people were really bummed about that.
Really? I kind of really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I heard a lot of people are like, the story was kind of short. I think some of the other ones were better, which is kind of surprising because everyone seems to kind of be sucking the dick of that game. So I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I from what I've seen him play, it's been pretty cool. I can't afford it right now. I played the original Assassin's Creed way back in the day and didn't really love it.
I'm afraid of heights. So whenever you had to do that thing where you'd climb stuff and then jump into the fucking hay barrels, I'd always like do it and then look away. There's a couple of scenes actually. There's a couple of scenes in Last of Us 2 where you have to traverse to a high point and then jump, and I always do it and then look away because it just freaks me out. Can't do it.
Right. Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, that'd be fun to watch on my Twitch, wouldn't it? You're like, I'm just gonna look away.
Right.
Party on.
Well, cool, man. I'm gonna try to figure out how to raid this dude's channel.
Okay, yeah.
Right now. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, so there we are. But yeah, so I'll figure that out here in a minute. But John, thanks so much, man. This was a fun stream.
Yeah,